no way, Chris. There is no way that one bullet could have done all that damage to that intact.
No way? What does no way mean?
One bullet came from the grassy knoll, the other from the Texas School Book Depository. How naive can you be?
Oh, so you think that the Chief Justice of the United States lied? Is that right? That Gerald Ford and all those other people lied?
Those bastards.
Why?
Well, they ate everything and left us a goddamn dog turd.
Earl Warren left us a dog turd?
No, Phil and Jack.
Why do you care about all this stuff? You were 5 years old when it happened.
I'm gonna get those guys, man. I don't know how yet, but I'm gonna get them.
Give me the keys to the car. We'll go to the supermarket. What do you want?
How about some truth and justice?
What else?
Donuts.
Why not? We're cops.
Hello and welcome to the Super 70 Podcast, episode 38.8, Assassination Cinema. Hi, folks. Things got a bit serious in the States lately. We've had a spate of assassination and assassination attempts in the past few years. Trump's been shot at twice last year. He's been hit once. Governor Josh Shapiro's mansion was burnt down. Melissa and Mark Hortman were murdered in their home. And, of course, Charlie Kirk was killed just a few weeks ago. Political assassinations are not new in this country. Medgar Evers was gunned down in his driveway, kicking off a spate of assassinations in the 1960s that included, among others, a president, a senator, a governor, and 2 civil rights advocates. This violent atmosphere is big trouble, absolute trouble for our country. But it sure does inspire outstanding art. Since the 1960s, we've seen an astounding number of films addressing political murder in an effort to understand and convey the hopes and fears of our national polity. I asked Luke to come into the Hacienda and discuss assassination cinema and why we're so fascinated by it. Join us. It's been a wild week. We've had a bunch of shit happen this week. Just as far as weeks go, like I can't imagine so much happening in one week. This is not a political show, so we're not going to get into politics. But Russia fired missiles into Poland that did not have warheads on them, and it was clearly a probe at NATO's defenses. There was some natural disasters that happened this week. We've got the war in Gaza, which just is not winding down like people want it. The Ukrainian situation is escalating, and I don't know, where were you when you found out that Charlie Kirk was shot?
I was just at home. I was in my room, just kind of like on my phone, scrolling a little bit. And then I thought, like, the first post I saw, I thought it was fake. And then the second one, I was like, oh, shit. So, like, I think that was, like, around noon when I found out. Mm-hmm. So that was insane. But another thing I forgot to mention is, like, the Nepal government is just gone.
The Nepalese government?
Nepalese government's gone.
Jeez.
You didn't hear about that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, they...
It's a coup d'etat?
No, like it was a revolution.
Oh.
A bunch of young people just, like, threw over the government, and they elected a new, like, prime minister, I think, on Discord.
No.
A bunch of young people. Because of, like, the social media ban I think they're going to put in. So they just rioted. It was crazy, some of the things I saw. It was, like, the Minister of Finance was being drugged through a river and, like, throwing stones at him.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And there's like another one that happened too, like in a different country. I can't remember right now, but it was just an insane week.
Well, and there's marches going all over the place. There was a football rally yesterday in Berlin with the Berlin Football Club that apparently got out of hand and scared a lot of people because they were throwing red is their color, as you know, but they were throwing red canisters around. And it just flooded the streets with red and just freaked a lot of people who are not from Germany, not from Berlin. It was freaking them out quite badly. And of course, there was a march in London yesterday in support of
a really big one.
Charlie Kirk. Yeah, it was over 100,000 people, which it's hard to get 100,000 people together to do anything, So I got the notification on my phone like millions of other people did, and I waited 20 minutes, and then another one came through, and I thought, oh, but we've been talking about this for years. The president's been shot at twice. One bullet hit. 2 lawmakers in Minnesota were shot. One was killed last month. This is going to go on. This is going to go on, and more people are going to die. And it's more and more looking like the 60s and early 70s with George McGovern and Robert Kennedy. And not just them, but, Medgar Evers was shot down in his driveway, by the Klan. And Byron de la Beckwith stood trial for it 30 years later, when he was so old that it almost didn't matter. But while I was going through this, I was thinking about, specifically what I was thinking about was you and I, about a year ago, we were watching The Parallax View.
Yeah. With
Warren Beatty, 1972, I think it was. And I remember very distinctly about every 30 minutes into that film, you very clearly saying in the kino room, on the other side of the kino room in the dark, that is the most fucked up thing I think I've ever seen on film. And then 30 minutes later, you saying, I think that is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen on film. And then 30 minutes later, it's, oh my God. Yeah. And it's just one of those great apex mountain political movies in an age where people were getting so used to conspiracies and not really knowing what was the truth and what was not the truth. And, the era of the Pentagon Papers coming out and all of this. And it just seems like we've had a stasis of about 40 years since the Church Commission in the 1970s, late 1970s, that divulged all this information that we found out, in fact, some of the conspiracies were true. And then some of the conspiracies we could never prove or not. And some were just waiting for scientific evidence to come out, right? Like the famous Mythbusters episode where they were like, we don't know anything about Dealey Plaza except for one thing. That bullet that came out of his head came out of that gun, out of that window. Yeah. Everything else is not germane. But besides that, besides The Parallax View, besides JFK, which have to top like probably popular art house, Parallax View, and then popular films, JFK.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to thinking, and I texted you, man, what are your favorite films about political assassination, and how much do they fascinate you? How much can we put on to the podcast and talk about without like delving deep into politics?
Yes.
Without, expressing an opinion about the current situation, which is fucked up. And I just fear that it's going to get more fucked up before everything calms down a bit. So I figured we'd go back and forth. Like you got 7 or 8, then you came over, and I was like, yeah, I've got 13, 14.
Yeah, and when you told me this, I was like, instantly, I was trying to think about like the categories, because there are movies about conspiracies that don't really have a political assassination, like Marathon Man,
right, or
3 Days of the Condor. Those movies, like, they're very conspiracy-like. Or you have the later ones, like Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. Yeah, I just started to think, like, what are the best ones that have kind of both? Because, like, the best political assassination movies isn't just about it. You know what I mean? It's like Gandhi, it's not about his assassination, it's about his life.
But it opens with
assassination. So there's, like, in my mind, I was trying to think, like, what are the parameters with this? And then I very easily found out that, what I was going to be working with. So I'm excited to see your list and how our lists, like, kind of intersect and, like, what you have on there. Because I don't want to know it until, like, we start talking about it.
Right. Well, and I don't know how you want to handle this, but I've got about 3 or 4 movies about the war, about assassinations during the war.
So that was another thing.
I don't know if you want to block those off. And where do you block those off? At the beginning, the middle, the end, or we just disperse them throughout?
So that was another thing, because, like, I was thinking about it because, like, I'm trying to think about the best ones, of course. And then, of course, you have, like, movies like Valkyrie. You know what I mean? The whole movie is about an assassination plot. It's very political. So, like, I didn't know if to add that. And ultimately, I didn't, because, like, I was just trying to keep it concise about the best ones. And I do think Valkyrie is a very good movie, but it's just, like, I don't think it's up there with, like, Parallax View. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's not in the same league.
It's not in the same league. And there are other movies on my list that are, like, tonally different. I get it. You can't really compare a lot of these. Like, a lot of these are based on real life. Like, our real life. A lot of these are just, fiction. And other ones, these are, like, historical, so... But we can definitely talk about the war ones, because those are very good.
Well, in terms of chronology, let's try to knock that one out first.
You want to do the war ones first?
Yeah, let's do the war ones first. And for our listeners, you might want to skip ahead about 10 or 15 minutes if you don't want to listen to a bunch of World War II talk. But and we can skip over Valkyrie pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that is an insanely political film.
Yeah, it's very political.
That a lot of people don't, they see it as intensely historical, which it is.
There's been it's kind of like weird. Whenever you see these movies now, it's kind of like you're removed from the politics of the era, especially during like World War II or World War I movies, like Downfall or something.
Right.
It's very separated in terms of like, the context. So like Valkyrie is like, when I saw it as a kid, I was like, oh, fun war movie. You know what I mean? About an assassination. Because my two favorite genres in film are like heist movies and assassination or conspiracy movies. Like those are my favorites. But like, and then I saw it again like a few years ago. I was like, wow, this is like insane. Like he's like, it's like the gravity of the whole movie like kind of changes when you get a little older. It's like they're trying to like do this,
Valkyrie pretty quickly is not the only film for those of you who do not know, that is about Operation Valkyrie, which was about the attempt of the German army to assassinate and overthrow the government of the National Socialists under Adolf Hitler, starting with Hitler's assassination. And there are so many facets to it because, of course, the Gestapo got their hands into everybody and made everybody confess with torture. And so we know a lot about the assassination through that. And, of course, those who got out spilled their guts about everything after the war. I think the Valkyrie punched through on a level that people were not expecting because people who were familiar with the war knew that there was an assassination on Hitler's life. What they did not understand was that it was the army that was leading the attempt, and there was a huge swaths of the German army, OKH is what we call it in history, Oberkommando der Heer, which was on the Bendlerstrasse, where you and I went last November. And their attempt was to revert Germany back to something Wilhelmine, something that was before the Weimar Republic, something that was more reminiscent of, because the Crown Prince was still alive. The Crown Prince who was
in Holland,
he was living in Holland and Germany at the time, and he was the son of the Kaiser, and he had a house in Potsdam, and he was in this circle, and he was put to death for his role in it. And the idea that not everyone in Germany were Nazis, and not everyone in the army was for the effort. The army was scared stiff for 15 years and had slowly, under a 10-year period, been neutered by Hitler to do his will. And I think that aspect of the story was the most fascinating, where you had people showing, like, look, I don't like the Allies, I don't like England, I don't like America, I don't like where the world is going, but our current situation is not tenable. And seeing that discussion in the film, I think, is why the film was so popular. Of course, Christopher McQuarrie's hand in it is absolutely great, and it's got a great staff. There are other films about Valkyrie about the 20th July plot. I just watched one, which was kind of nuts last night. I had no idea that's what it was about, but it was called The Night of the Generals, 1967, and it was about three generals, Peter O'Toole, and Donald Pleasance, and the third one was the guy who played Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Oh my God! In the OGs,
in Diamonds Are Forever, whose name escapes me. Ralph Richardson, I think.
Diamonds Are Forever, or You Only Live Twice.
Diamonds Are Forever,
okay.
But Donald Pleasance played him in You Only Live Twice, so they were both in the same film. The Night of the Generals. So,
I always get confused who is playing Ernst Stavro in those like 20 years of the early Bond years. You know what I mean? There's just like a new actor each time. Yeah. Her Majesty's Secret Service is a different guy.
Telly Savalas. Ostensibly what that was there was a prostitute that was murdered in Poland in 1942, and there were three generals in Warsaw who were not accounted for that night. And it was those three guys, including Pleasance and Peter O'Toole. So the cop with the Gestapo trying to solve the crime was Omar Sharif.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yes. So,
what a stacked cast.
Yeah. So it was Sharif and O'Toole on screen again.
That's amazing.
Right?
Like Lawrence of Arabia type thing, but new age. I love that.
Yeah. Same producer, apparently. Same producer. So it had that going for it, and it had twists and turns, but about halfway through, you realize, oh, by the way, Christopher Plummer showed up as Rommel, like halfway through the film.
Oh, of course he plays Rommel. Dude, Christopher Plummer is in every, historical movie for like 50 years. No, I love that guy. But that sounds like a really good movie. Yeah. But that also brings up like another question. Like, Fatherland?
Oh yeah, from the book by Richard Harris with
Yeah,
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. Like, that's a conspiracy movie. It's not a political assassination movie.
Right. So tell our listeners what Fatherland is about.
Dude, Fatherland, it's like kind of a realistic depiction of alternate history based on a book about an SS investigator who, throughout like a murder and throughout the entire movie, slowly is discovering the fact that the Holocaust happened. And this takes place in like 1965, right? And like the war is still going on. Like, America isn't in it. You know, Stalin's still alive. He's like 85. And, you know, a Kennedy is president, but not that Kennedy, Kennedy Sr. And they're trying to like, and he's just discovering these horrific things. It was like, oh, we didn't just like send them to Ukraine. No, it's like very clearly not happening. It's like based on the realism of it. And it's just like people working on office buildings, you know, there's like a whole department just making, you know, birthday cards for 6 million people, just sending them out every single year, you know, to cover up this horrific thing. But it's not like, and it's not an assassination movie. It's a conspiracy movie.
Right.
But I thought it was really entertaining, and how it was like a different type of Nazi movie. It's like a lot of people are just like doing their jobs. Like, there's just like people there like doing tourism for Greater Germania or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's just like very interesting how they depict it, you know? And then Rutger Hauer is just kind of like shaped throughout the movie.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, he driving around in his Volkswagen with his leather coat. And
with
everything.
That insane Gestapo coat. Like, that was a fit right there. But
Hugo Boss at his best.
Oh, yeah. Say what you want about them, but they had drip.
So so I'll let you something in on a little aside. I read Fatherland, the book, when it came out in the first mass market paperback, and I was so moved by it that I actually wrote probably about 300 pages of a book called The New South. And it was about what had happened if the South had gotten a stalemate during the war after Lincoln's assassination, which was a completely far-fetched situation that is completely historically untenable. But it was basically about just how horrible the South was. And it was specifically about a history professor at Tulane University who just slowly comes to the realization through a political murder of how bad things in the South actually are, and starts to see the whole thing as again, an untenable political situation based upon the oppression of millions. Anyway, so that was Fatherland, Valkyrie. And the next one that I want to get into on this vein was one of my favorite assassination films, which is Anthropoid.
Anthropoid is really good. I didn't even think about that one. That is...
You stood outside that church in Prague.
Yeah, so when I went to Prague...
So first tell everybody what Anthropoid is about.
Okay, so Anthropoid is about these two Czech ex-soldiers, right?
No, they were active military personnel.
No, like ex-Czech soldiers. They go to...
Well, the Czech army was in exile in Great Britain.
Yeah,
so they weren't ex-Czech soldiers.
They were
Czech soldiers.
They were Czech soldiers, and so they get tasked with assassinating Reinhard Heydrich in Prague, and his nickname was like the Butcher of Prague. To see all this, when I was a kid, I saw this pretty young. I thought it was like a typical like assassination movie, kind of. But like now, I saw it again pretty recently. Like I saw it before I went to Prague because I knew I was going to go to the church, and I saw like the absolute oppression that the Czechs went through whenever he was just, you know, ruling over that area with an iron fist and killing anyone who wanted to, and just to see these Czech soldiers going back to their home and just see what the Nazis just did to that, you know, just adds like another level of meaning to the movie if you have all the context. No, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to spoil it. But
well, the finale of the movie takes place in a church.
That's all I'm going to say.
Which really happened.
And the church is still there, and it's like a tearful ending. But like I stood in front of the church, and there's still a section of the church that has bullet holes left in it. And it's just, they have like a little memorial. They have flowers there. Like when I went there was flowers even at night. And, you know, it's just insane. It's just like a poignant movie.
Well, the good people of Prague have made it possible for the museum, which is in the crypt, to be 100% free of charge to the public. Mm-hmm. The good people of Prague, if they ever pass by and there's no flowers on that spot, somebody will ultimately go buy flowers and bring them by and place them there. Reinhard Heydrich was the fourth in line to Adolf Hitler, and the chain of command was Under Hitler was Heinrich Himmler, who was the leader of the SS.
Yes.
And under the SS was, well, actually just direct line, so third in line, was Reinhard Heydrich, who was the leader of the Gestapo.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1941, Hitler said, I want you to take over
this area.
This area, which is, they took away the name Czechoslovakia. You weren't allowed to use it or say it. It wasn't allowed to be in print language. It was the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, which are the two provinces that make up Czechoslovakia. And that was the industrial heartland of Czechoslovakia. And Heydrich's purpose was to squeeze every bullet and tank out of the Skoda factory that he in the entire industrial region that he could for the German war effort. And he was killing Czechs on the way to that purpose. So the Czech reaction was to knock him off. And the blowback from that was incredible. The Czechs suffered horribly. And I thought Anthropoid, which was beautifully done with some fantastic actors. I mean, it had
Cillian Murphy
in it, and before
really stood out. Cillian Murphy was in a movie like around 2000 called The Trench. It's like a World War I movie with Daniel Craig in it. Yeah, it's like a little slow, but it's like a depiction of World War I that isn't like really seen.
Ooh.
So it's pretty good.
I'm interested in that. And of course, if anybody wants to get technical, the Irish were still part of the British Empire at that point.
Oh yeah,
and they had Irish soldiers that were in the trenches with their British mates. Just a controversial topic for some people to talk about, but not with me. So the other side to that is a movie that came out about 1980 with Timothy Bottoms called Operation Crossbow.
Never heard of it.
And that was a film about Anthropoid. And at that time, it wasn't just a Hollywood notion of how do we make something that's going to hit a mass audience, but it was before the fall of the Soviet Union, and Czechoslovakia was still behind the Iron Curtain. So there were a lot of these facts that happened about Anthropoid that we were not privy to, we did not know about because the wall was still up. And so if you look at Operation Crossbow, there's some factual inaccuracies in that you just sort of you can dismiss even though it kind of might piss you off. And he's like, "Oh, that didn't happen." Well, just calm down. They didn't know that 11 years before the KGB archives was open and all these other things. The other one was during the war, like right after Heydrich died. Fritz Lang did a movie about how horrible Heydrich was, and it was called Hangmen Also Die.
Damn.
And it came out in late 1943. And it was an enormously popular film in America. And I can just see those executives at Warner Brothers saying, we have to make a film about this. Who do we get?
Do we know Fritz Lang?
We get Fritz Lang.
Love that guy.
The Nazis hate Fritz Lang.
Oh, yeah.
And Fritz, being a German, he just relished making a film about Heydrich. Right?
Oh, of course.
That was probably his crowning achievement.
That's the best guy to get for the job, man. Fritz Lang. Dude, what a resume.
Yeah. So Hangmen Also Die. And of course, the only criticism I have about it, I haven't seen it in 20 years, is Heydrich it's like a cartoon. He's got like a really big nose and tall forehead, and he's always screaming.
Yeah, it goes for the great dictator type of exaggeration of the evil. But I mean, like there's the Mel Brooks argument, that you have. It's like, how do you get past such an evil? You know what I mean? Is you have to make light even though it's bad. Right. You know what I mean? And I do believe in that argument a lot, especially like with like Charlie Chaplin doing it or Mel Brooks. It's just like there is time and place for like the humor in it, and there's also time and place for the seriousness. So, like if you have everything, it's just better than just having all of it being serious all the time.
The dark humor can save you in a very bad situation. Of course, Brooks was amazing at pointing out flaws in our society using dark humor like that. One of the things that I read about the Sicherheitsdienst, the secret security police that was under Heydrich, they couldn't run an opinion poll in Nazi Germany, so they used the SD. To go around listening in pubs and bars and things to see what were people actually saying about the regime, and they would type up these reports and they would send them up to line, and even sometimes Hitler read these reports. And one of the jokes that they've recorded during this time was after the 20th of July bomb plot, some people were actually secretly telling jokes to each other like, who would be saved if Hitler was actually killed in that bomb? And the answer was Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Jesus.
I mean, you could get arrested for telling a joke like
You
that.
can get shot for that.
Right. Staying with the war, I got a whole stack of
Jesus, just war movies.
just war movies, but sticking with the theme of assassination, The Eagle has landed.
Remind me of who's in that again? I haven't seen that in a long time.
That was Michael Caine.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yes, I remember that. When he tries to put on the accent. Yeah. No, I haven't seen that in so long.
So Michael Caine plays an Abwehr officer.
Yes.
So Abwehr, to our audience who's unfamiliar, was the section of the Navy that was the counterintelligence arm of the Wehrmacht. The Wehrmacht being the combined armed service of Germany. So Robert Duvall is actually an intelligence officer in the Abwehr, and he finds out that Churchill is going to be in a very specific place in Ireland, which was under Dominion rule at the time. And so he got together. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ireland. I think it was Wales. And so he got together Michael Caine and a rowdy bunch of very specific people to go and kill Churchill. And so they're inserted into Wales. And the reason I thought it was initially set in Ireland is because Donald Sutherland plays a Nazi sympathizer who is Irish, which is why he's a sympathizer. And he tries to help Michael Caine to his objective to kill Churchill during this situation. And then in the end of the movie, Treat Williams shows up, and I'm not going to blow it, but it's Treat Williams versus Michael Caine. You can't get much better than that.
That movie was fantastic. I remember it being great.
Yeah.
So it's one of those great war movies, whether or not it's about a conspiracy assassination. It's just like a really good war movie.
And people may say, well, Churchill obviously survived the war, so the assassination did not take place. Why is that an assassination movie? Aha! I will leave it to you to watch the end of the movie and find out whether or not they succeeded.
Well, that's another question. Like, does the assassination have to take place? It's still about an assassination. You know what I mean? That's like that was one of the movies I have on here. So I had a little dilemma to put that on here or not. So we'll get there.
Okay. All right. I've got one more war movie, and that would be The Dirty Dozen, which it's not a single assassination, but it was
a lot.
It was a lot. It was like, let's get as many Nazi officers into an underground bunker and then pour gasoline on them and throw grenades into the gasoline. And that made a lot of people in 1967 very happy.
Oh, yeah. Didn't, what's his name make that? Sam Peckinpah? Didn't he make that?
Oh, no. I think that was Stuart Hillman. Yeah,
I think I'm just getting confused because, Borgnine is very...
oh, yeah, he's in it.
He's in a lot of Peckinpah movies, so I just get him... I just assume whatever he's in, Peckinpah made.
There's a book written about the making of The Dirty Dozen, which I haven't read yet. It's called Killing Nazis, The History of the Dirty Dozen.
Oh, isn't Lee Marvin in that one?
That's right.
Yeah, Lee Marvin's great.
Robert Aldrich, who doesn't immediately ring a bell. But he directed The Longest Yard and whatever happened to Baby Jane, which were famous dramas. The Choir Boys, and he's got actually an impressive resume. The Flight of the Phoenix.
Oh, he did the first one?
Yeah, he did the
Damn.
first one.
I prefer the second one. I think the second one's better. I even rewatched it semi-recently.
Oh.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Good
what's his name? Jesus.
Jimmy
Quaid.
Stewart?
Randy Quaid?
No, his brother Dennis.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he's pretty good in that.
Excellent. Okay, so now it looks like we're off of war films.
All right.
So
are we going to start from least to most recognizable? Or most to least?
I would say let's start with least recognizable on your list, but I would save your favorite for the number one slot.
Oh, okay. Save my favorite for the number one slot?
Save your favorite for the number one slot.
Ooh. Okay. All right, I can do that. So, you want me to go?
Do you want to circle your favorite?
Yeah.
So
I remember.
You don't. Well, since I had
this
more
is difficult, man.
All right, so since I have more movies than you, I think I'll start off.
Yeah, you can start.
And that one would be probably one that not a lot of people have seen or watched, also starring Dennis Quaid. It's called Vantage Point.
Have I seen that?
I don't think that you have. And Dennis Quaid plays a Secret Service agent during the assassination of a president, and it uses the Rashomon. So,
okay.
Yeah, you see it from his perspective. And
everyone's perspective.
Yeah, everyone that goes around. He's trying to solve the crime as to what happened after the fact, and it's really like one of those thrillers that's got it relies on the editing, and it's got really good editing to get you through. And if you haven't seen Vantage Point, you gotta knock that one out. That's really good. What do you got?
Mine is Z.
Oh, that's not your favorite?
That's not my favorite. It's up there though. It's a really good one. Do you have Z written down?
Yeah, I mean that was the one I was saving for my favorite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. We'll get through it now. So Z Kostas Gavras, who was a Greek who fled to France during the colonel's coup in the 60s, made a fantastic film. Actually, he shot it, I believe, in North Africa, in Algeria, because France wouldn't let him shoot it in France. And it was about a politician, a socialist politician, played by Yes Montan, who was assassinated. And it very carefully, even though it was in French and it took place in France, it was very carefully followed the events of a politician who was killed in Greece before the coup of the colonels. And I watched that not knowing anything really about the history, not knowing anything about the Greek coup, not knowing anything about Kostas Gavras. And I saw it on, I think I got it on videotape, and I watched it in the 90s, and I was like, geez, this, and it was formatted, so it was not widescreen. But it was so profound, and the politics of it was really crazy. Like, it was so extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had extreme socialists and extreme fascists and battling each other on the streets. And that was what it was like in Greece at that time.
Yeah, that movie is just kind of like every 15 minutes, something either crazy. Everything's crazy that happens in the movie, but it's like at different levels. Like sometimes you'll see just like a dude getting caught doing something he shouldn't, and it's like, this is just mysterious. Not only because like someone got caught trying to do this, but it's just like it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And so a lot of it is just kind of like shrouded in mystery, and that's why I like it so much.
Which is what happens during political assassinations.
Exactly. You're
right?
never in the fully know, fully in the know. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think that's indicative of everything. Like I just told you about, Ben Shapiro going into the firing lane on Bill Maher on Friday night after the whole thing with Charlie Kirk, saying, we don't know shit. We don't know shit. Like these 7 things that they have reported in 24 hours since his death, none of that is true.
Yeah.
At a synagogue, it is very likely to be either a white supremacist or a radical Muslim. If it is a shooting of a Republican politician, it is very likely to be a trans Antifa Marxist shooter.
That is just not true. We don't know what this kid is.
We do know this kid was of the left. We do know that.
We do know what?
That this kid was of the political left. That is according to contemporaneous reporting from The Guardian as well as Tablet Magazine today.
It's 2 days out. We don't know shit, Ben.
But
we don't know shit. They never do. The internet is undefeated in getting it wrong to begin with.
It's not about the internet. That's about the actual reporting by mainstream accepted. The Guardian is not a right-wing.
Here's what we heard. Here's what I was told so far, and I'll tell you what was wrong. First, I heard he's a registered Republican. Not true. Okay. Then he was a donor to Trump. Not true. His father works in the sheriff's office. Not true. There was a picture of him wearing a pro-Trump shirt. Not true. Member of the Democratic Socialists of America. Not true. We don't know what he is.
Well,
how are you so sure he's of the left? Now, I agree when you write on a bullet, what did he write on the bullet?
Catch this fascist, which is also a gamer thing.
Okay, but now I'm hearing he may have been part of that group for whom Charlie Kirk was not right-wing enough.
You mean the Groypers, yes. I mean, so that would...
You're sure he's not that?
I'm not sure that he's not that.
A minute ago you were sure what he was.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on. Okay, because I've been...
You were.
I hate all that shit, man. It's just like all the fake shit that comes out just to grab. Like, it just pisses me off because, like, I knew there was like at least like a dozen headlines. It was just like, no way.
And Z is filled with that.
Oh yeah,
filled with it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about it only hit me, I don't know, about 20 minutes after the magistrate shows up, because the magistrate's going to figure out what is really going on, and who
Who is telling the magistrate to do this? The people who have ordered the fucking murder to begin with.
Exactly.
And so you automatically think from the get-go, the magistrate is tainted. This is a cover-up. He is not interested in truth. He is only... But as you go step by step through the film, you start to realize, no, the magistrate's on the straight and narrow. He actually really is trying to solve a crime. Because when he runs across the two hitmen, he actually goes after him with a fervor that you were not expecting. Mm-hmm. You were expecting him to let them go, but no, like when he finds out they're in on it, they're like, oh, okay. Who are they working for? And he's following the chain of events.
Exactly.
Right? And, of course, how long is that going to last? I'll let you watch Z.
It's really good.
It's an amazing film. It's on Criterion.
Oh, as it should be.
Yeah, really. So Costa Gavras has 3 films on Criterion. One is called State of Siege, which is amazing, which is about the coup after the coup in Uruguay, which also stars Yes Montan. And then he did another film that Criterion, I think 1 or 2 years ago, called Missing. And that's got Jack Lemmon in it and Sissy Spacek. And that's about a guy who goes down to Peru after the Pinochet coup to find his son who's gone missing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that is based on a true story using files released from the State Department.
Fuck.
Yes, that Kissinger era files. And of course, the minute I said Kissinger, everybody who's listening was like, "Oh." Okay.
Oh yeah, I see where this is.
One that I don't particularly care for, but which was hot at the time, and I went to go see it opening weekend at the theater with your mom, was In the Line of Fire.
Oh, that's another one I have on here.
Hopefully it's not your favorite.
Oh, no. I do like that one a lot, though. I like In the Line of Fire. I mean, you can't really beat Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich. Yeah, it's...
Malkovich.
I am John Malkovich. No, I do like that one a lot. It's near the top of my most known lists. On my list, you know what I mean? Because people kind of know it. You know, it's a Clint Eastwood movie in the 90s, or he's like, I wouldn't say he's past his prime. You know what I mean? Like, I think Eastwood has like about 25 years there where he's just like making like peak movies since like the mid 60s to like 95. You know what I mean? And In the Line of Fire is kind of like one of those last ones until he gets into his old era of like him kind of directing more. Mm-hmm. But I like this one a lot because it's just like Clint Eastwood. He's a Secret Service agent. He's got to figure out what is going on. Like I just liked it a lot.
And he's running around with Rene Russo.
Yeah, I forgot she was in that.
Thor's mom.
Yeah, Rene Russo. It's like a bit of a longer movie. Like it feels like that, but I still think there's like enough there to keep you entertained the whole time. Especially the ending's really good.
Directed by Wolfgang Petersen from Das Boot. Yes, we've liked the Germans on this podcast. Yeah.
Then I have Blowout.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was going to be...
Yeah, this is on here, man. So, actually, I just rewatched this last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just as good. My only complaint with the movie is, like, whoever plays Sally. It just pisses me off. Like,
Nancy Allen?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the actress or if it's, like, the writing of the character. I think it's the writing of the character. She just pisses me off because she's like a bumbling idiot in the movie, and then you have John Travolta like literally trying his absolute hardest to like just like stay alive and just like help her out, and she's just like, oh, let me just go walk down this subway station with this random fucking guy in the middle of nowhere. Like it's just, but everything other than that is like absolutely captivating. It's like him just slowly unraveling like what is going on, and like I've never really seen a movie kind of like it with a sound guy. It's like I know what a gunshot sounds like. You can't tell me that's not a gunshot. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like when he talks to the cop and the cop is like, "Oh, you don't know what the fuck you saw," and he's like, "No, like I know what I heard. It doesn't matter what I saw." You know what I mean? So it's like kind of like a different type of movie. And John Lithgow, man,
yeah, Lithgow in his prime, and that's not really when he
that's not his prime. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's got 2 primes.
The World According to Garp, for those of you who might dive into it, when he plays the first transgender player in a Hollywood film. The Blowout is really interesting because it doesn't really take sides. Like you don't know, I mean it's a political assassination, but you don't know what for. You don't know who against who. And in that way it's kind of neutral. And this is one of the situations that I just kind of I shake my head at when people say, "Oh, Hollywood is too liberal" or "Hollywood is too left," and they've got some agenda that they're trying to push. Find that agenda and Blowout. I don't see one. You know, to a certain extent, it comes out in Z. It does. But if you watch a lot of, like, in the parallax view, what the hell is that?
What the fuck's going on?
You don't know what is going on in that film. You only know that there's a conspiracy, and against whom and for what, you're kind of left clueless about it. There's no.
That's the point of the movie.
That's the point of the movie. It could be anybody, from any direction, and that's the scary part. So I think the criticism of the character that Nancy Allen plays in Blowout is actually pretty consistent with what a lot of people think about Brian De Palma and his films.
Yeah, and then you got to go back to Brian De Palma. That question, you know what I mean? Like his directing is, a little all over the place, So it's just like the character is like the weakest part of the entire movie.
I mean, unfortunately, it's one of those situations where you've got someone who's just got so much technical prowess.
Oh yeah,
and then
you see that in like half of every shots in that movie.
Well, that movie has what I consider to be the greatest shot in the history of cinema.
No, I have to disagree.
Which is,
it's an amazing shot. It's up there
when she's dying. Spoilers. And Travolta's holding her, and there's a wraparound up to the sky shot with the fireworks in the background. And the first time I saw that, I said, out of everything that I've ever seen in every movie, the long shot of the Star Destroyer and opening of Star Wars, or that amazing shot of that stuntman crossing roofs and going through a window in the third Jason Bourne film, which is incredible stunt work. There's so many to choose from, but I think that one stands out to me as, even though the movie to me is not the best movie, and it's not the best conspiracy movie, it's not the best Brian De Palma movie, that shot has got to be the best shot ever made.
It's a fantastic shot.
But not your favorite.
Not my favorite. But like in that movie, like he uses angles very, very well. And there are things like certain shots in that movie, it's like just one, the camera's just like stationary, but like it's stationary in a way that it's showing you like 5 different things at the same time. You know what I mean? Like there's a shot in the bathroom where it's like showing the location of 2 characters, the location they're in, what both the characters are it's very well set up. So it's just like, technically it's a very well made movie.
Well, that reminded me, not moment by moment, but that reminded me of the bathroom tracking shot in A Touch of Evil when they find the dynamite.
Like yes.
Right? But I didn't see that as the ripoff. The ripoff that I saw was when Travolta's going through all of his tapes and finding out that they're all blank.
Yeah.
There's a tracking shot it's not a tracking shot. It's just a pivot shot on a stand going around the room. And that to me looked really like what Coppola did in The Conversation.
I think it's a great shot if only it was like a little slower. Like if the wraparound was a little slower, because like I remember the first time I saw it, like when it was wrapping around, like some things can get blurry and there's like screen tearing because like the frames, there's just not enough frames to like show you everything. But it is still like a great shot, and John Travolta just going around the room like more and more frantic as he checks all his tapes. Like it's just, I still think it's a great shot.
Yeah, the frame rate needed to be upped on that, but
yeah,
industry standard being 24 per frame per second, it's not gonna work out that way. Okay, so I guess we're back to me.
Yep.
All right. So which one of the Manchurian Candidates do you want to talk about?
Never seen any of them.
Well, that's going to make this
a lot harder. I know there's one with Frank Sinatra and the one with
Denzel Washington.
Denzel.
Yeah. The one with Denzel is almost unwatchable.
Oh, no shit, really?
I challenge you to get through that. That was the age of let's ride the anti-Hillary train about as hard as we possibly can.
No shit, really?
Yes. Meryl Streep is playing a Hillary Clinton stand-in. And the Manchurian Candidate, for those of you who don't know, I think it was 1952. Frank Sinatra, I think Ernest Borgnine is in that film as well. And it's about a group of American soldiers who were captured during the Korean War, are brainwashed by the North Koreans, and then sent back to the United States as liberated POWs after the war, and all of them have a task to complete that they have been programmed to do while they are not aware that they are doing it. And this film was a huge hit when it came out, which was way too close to the Kennedy assassination. But it also gained notoriety after Sirhan. Sirhan was arrested for the murder of Senator Kennedy in 1968, where Sirhan was just giving answers that just did not make any sense to anyone, not to the cops that arrested him, not to his lawyers, and a lot of people thought it was a game, it was a setup, and there was a lot of people that went and interviewed him after he pled guilty and just said it just looks like he's so jumbled up that it looks like he's been programmed to do something and then has not been deprogrammed out of what he was programmed to do. That was the theory. I've read several books about that by psychologists who said something is not adding, like it may not be the assassination thing, but something is definitely up. And then you got films like Captain America and Winter Soldier that are directly based on that idea, right? Boxcar, Homecoming, and whatever the code words are. And strangely enough, that film has Robert Redford in it.
Yeah.
Right? Who was in 3 Days of the Condor. It's a great conspiracy movie. So the modern one is Denzel sort of in a different seat. He plays a reporter trying to find out what's going on, and Meryl Streep is this Hillary Clinton person trying to put her son into the White House, and the Manchurian Candidate is going to stop them. There's no Manchuria, there's no mention of China in the sequel, which confuses everything. Because in the first film, there was definitely, I mean, it's a Cold War movie. There was an enemy to be had, and who's not going to back Frank Sinatra? You know, I mean, everybody was like, that is my hero. But in the remake, it just did not tread water at all.
My next one would be Malcolm X.
Excellent film.
Oh yeah, that is probably one of the best movies ever made.
Wow.
Like, I think it's Spike Lee's best movie.
I think
Denzel's
so too.
best movie. It's just one of the best ones ever made.
It's an incredible performance, and I cannot believe he did not get the Oscar for it.
No, he should have. Like, that's like a powerhouse performance, like all throughout the movie. It's just fantastic. Like, there's just shots in that are like blow your mind. Like we're both thinking of the shot in Mecca, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like the sequence, and like that's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just the whole movie. Like, when I watched it, I just like couldn't blink. Like, I was just locked in.
I saw that on videotape, and which is a horrible way to see it. But I remember watching the assassin. Now, I didn't know anything about Malcolm X except that he had been killed, and I didn't know by who and for what purpose or whatever. So as I'm watching the film, Spike is educating me. He's educating people who just, particularly among our demographic, who just do not know.
Mm-hmm.
And having watched it unfold, I just remember just staring at the TV with my mouth open like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He was brutally murdered in front of his family, in front of his congregation. Like, it was incomprehensible. And to see the lectern that he's speaking at take the shrapnel from the buckshot, and then the two men that were basically the tip of the spear, it was kind of like the spear of Longinus. They just want to make sure Christ is dead, who come in afterward and pump them full of 22s and 32s. It's just, it is a horrible, horrible way to portray that. And that's why Spike did it, was he didn't want to mask it. And he did not, this was, I think, really important for this type of film about this type of assassination subject. He didn't glorify Malcolm at all. He showed Malcolm through every stage of his sins, as well as his attempt to claw at virtue and get out of those horrible situations he was in as a youth, and even change directions as a man. I'm no longer holding this opinion because I realize that's inconsistent with humanity. And it would have been, I think America would have been a greater place had he lived.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. It's a tearjerker movie. Like, at the very end, it's like a beautiful, like, shot. Like, it's just like a beautiful story about like someone's life and like what he's going through, and just everything about it, like how his opinions changed throughout the entire years. It's just, and what he has to deal with you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and like his family, and then like the time he just lives in. You know, it's just everything is just great about that movie. It's a character study, really.
Yeah, that shot of him standing in his kitchen holding that AK, answering the phone, hanging up the phone, and then answering the phone and hanging up the phone, and shit like that's still going on. You know, incredible, great movie. Malcolm X. This one's a little bit on the side, but I'm sure most people have not heard about this because it came out January of 2020. We went to go see it. It's called The Rhythm Section with Blake Lively. And
that one?
Yeah, so the plot of this was by Eon Productions, the same production company that does James Bond. This was a film ostensibly about some terrorists they assassinated a VIP who was on a plane. That plane went down and killed everybody on the plane. And then there was a young woman whose two parents were on that plane, and she goes out to get revenge. This is a victim of some bad music and some very bad editing and some story decisions that I would not have chosen, but apparently those story decisions were made because it came from the source material. But even if you ask John le Carré, the famous spy novelist, you know, he was consulted for almost all of his books that became movies, like The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, Smiley's People, and all of that. He was constantly in trouble with the screenwriters because he would say, yeah, but wouldn't this be more interesting? And they would be really frustrated. Like, you wrote the freaking novel. Why didn't you just do that for the novel? And he was more interested in making it interesting than keeping to the source material, which is why he felt really conflicted about The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. After seeing it on screen, he was like, I should have made better decisions. The screenwriter should have changed things. The screenwriter was in the SOE by way of experience. So
I thought it was all right. I don't think it's that good. Like, it's.
Well, that's why I guess I should have started out with that, because most people have not seen that.
Yeah, it was like, I remember watching. It was like,
it's got a hell of a finale.
I can see what they're trying to do, and I can see all the pieces there. It's just they aren't connected well enough.
It was kind of like it's almost like The Amateur with Rami Malek that came out last year, right? Where she's trying to gain this knowledge and experience to do X, and it doesn't pan out well.
Yeah,
just like in The Amateur.
Next one, Day of the Jackal.
Oh, I thought maybe you're going to save that for last.
That was up for my top spot.
Oh, so we're already there?
No, that was like up for my favorite.
Okay, but
I got
we
one more.
We got one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
All so right. Day of the Jackal.
That took place. That was my number 2.
Yeah, that movie is something special, and we're talking about the OG one, not the remake,
not the Jackal. Yeah.
I still need to see the TV show because they remade it into a TV show.
Who's in that?
Eddie Redmayne.
Redmond?
Eddie
Redmayne.
Yeah, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
He's in it, and a few other people. I want to see it just because I love Day of the Jackal so much. But that movie is just like a slow burn. You know, every scene has a purpose, whether it's like chilling or setting up something more, and then just like the Jackal trying to like figure out how the fuck to do this. And like when he's encountering these roadblocks, whether it's his own fault or, you know, it's just like something out of his control. It's just like, and that ending is just makes it all worth it, which is kind of like, I don't know how the screenwriters and the producers are like, yeah, that ending's okay, because it's kind of like everything that's not what a mainstream movie has to have in their third act.
There's lots of things in The Day of the Jackal that should not work.
Oh yeah.
And it's a long movie.
Oh yeah, it doesn't feel like it though.
No, it goes. It's edited very well.
Mm-hmm.
There are long stretches in it with no music.
Oh yeah, just you and the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
very
bold.
Fantastically played by Edward Fox, who I just saw actually in the Battle of Britain this morning when I watched it. And Edward Fox was, he was in tons of war movies. He was in one with Harrison Ford and Carl Weathers where they blew up a dam. I think we watched it. Force 10 from Navarone.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
I love that.
Edward Fox is in that. He plays the demolition expert. Fox, he just had a style to him which really sold that character. And at the same time, again, this was something that was done fairly recently. Like, when The Day of Jackal came out, Charles de Gaulle was still alive.
Yeah, like the whole thing with de Gaulle, I never got it when I first watched it, and was like, oh, they're trying to kill, like, de Gaulle. Like, they have an entire, like, quarter or third of their war museum in France, and
when you went to the Invalides?
The Invalides, yeah, like a third of that is just for de Gaulle. You know what I mean? So, like, he's a very important person to the French.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, de Gaulle is the George Washington of the modern French state, and you're talking about a guy who ruled France with an iron fist after the war, and then the minute things did not go his way, he got rid of it, and he went out to his little farm and made hay for 10 years until the French Republic was ready to call him back into service. And when he did, he promised to find a way out of the Algerian War, and that was basically to pull the army out and give Algeria back to Algerians. And fuck, that pissed off a lot of Frenchmen. A lot of French were still living in Algeria. How do you separate out of that? And the army turned on him hard. And there's actually an assassination attempt in the beginning of the film, which is actually based on fact, which happened outside of Paris. There was a second attempt on his life that was in Algeria that is not shown in the film, which I can't believe they didn't show that one. That one took place in the Casbah in Algiers. And then there was a third attempt, which was a full-blown coup d'etat by the army in downtown Paris that involved tanks.
Fuck.
And de Gaulle went live on TV and was like, if it is the will of the people of France, then I beg every officer who has ever served me in the past to not do this. And he got out of that situation. I mean, if de Gaulle had been removed from power, I do not see how he would have kept his life. The French officer corps was that pissed off at him for pulling out of Algiers.
Well, the French, they're like their history is very different than like everything else. You know, it really starts from Napoleon.
Yeah, it's very radical.
Like ever since the Revolution, and you know what Napoleon did to the identity of what being French means, it's very different, and it affected de Gaulle.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just insane.
Absolutely, it did, and it affected his thinking and why he's on record as not trusting Americans over the Soviets, which is an insane thought process.
I watched this I think it was this political scientist. I don't know if I fully agree with this, but it sounds very true. I still have to think more about it, but he was like, Napoleon did something that no one else did to nationalism. He was like the main proponent of it, is because they had Napoleon try and turn off the revolution after they failed to do it for 10 years. He was like, we need to stop this revolution, and Napoleon just turns it an idea is you want to know why we did the revolution? It's because you were French. It's you can't do it anywhere else. No one else could do this revolution. Is because you were French, and we've got to export the revolution to everywhere else in Europe or the world. And that's
what he did.
That's what he did.
That's what he
owned everything from Madrid to Moscow.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very, very odd, the French history.
Yeah, and the revolutions in 1848.
Oh yeah, everything they went through is just, it ultimately goes back to
and
Napoleon.
The reverberations that go into other, and that includes assassinations. The assassination of the Tsar in Russia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a reverberation from the French Revolution, and a lot of people don't know this. Queen Victoria was shot at 6 times during her life while she was queen.
God.
And her carriage got hit one time during a parade by a man who was just shooting a revolver at her. I mean, within earshot. It was political assassinations in the 1800s were everywhere.
Oh yeah, McKinley,
yeah, Garfield. Lincoln. 1865. So, and I was thinking about a film that was about the Lincoln assassination, and I could not think of one. I mean, there's a TV show on HBO Max called Manhunt, which is really good. But
everyone's got to keep in mind that even Spielberg's Lincoln doesn't count.
That's right.
Even though Daniel Day-Lewis is great, and it doesn't count.
Okay, so my number one just shifted because we already talked about 2 of my number ones.
Jesus, my bad.
That's all right. So let's go back to one of mine, which is the assassination of Richard Nixon.
I haven't seen it.
Testing. February 22nd, 1974. Take number 1.
Hey, Ellen, sit next to your sister. Come on, Sam Jr.
Come on, you guys. Dinner's ready.
Daddy's taking a picture.
See you next Sunday, Sam.
Yeah, I'll see you next Sunday. My name is Sam Bick, and I consider myself a grain of sand.
It says here that you're currently employed as an office furniture salesman?
Yes, that's correct.
You want to know who the greatest salesman in the world is? That man right there. He sold the whole country on himself twice.
The salesman who believes is the salesman who receives.
I really believe in this desk.
Remember, power is a state of mind.
Everything okay at work?
Everything okay at home?
Look at the way they make you dress.
I dress like this so I can support my family.
A man doesn't give up his rights at a job.
You got a right to pay your bills, pay for your kids.
You're gonna lose this job, aren't you?
All I want is a little piece of the American dream. Is that too much to expect?
I just want you to know that I'm not seeing anyone.
Are you spying on me?
I told you, I only hire married men. A divorced salesman fails at selling the same as marriage.
The system is, not right.
Somebody has to resist.
If I am lucky, the action that I am about to take will show the powerful that even the least grain of sand has in him the power to destroy them. I'm not the man in the Cadillac. That's not me. Nobody thinks that Sam Bick is gonna make it.
Hey, I didn't say that.
You just wait and see. They will never forget me. Not ever. I was here.
True story, played by Sean Penn. And he hijacks an airplane. And his intent is, I'm going to fly this airplane into the White House, and I'm going to kill Richard Nixon.
Jesus. Okay.
This is a true story. This happened, I think, in 1971. And to watch it play out on screen is almost like a page-for-page reading of the FBI report, which you can read online for free at the FBI.gov, as long as cash allows you to read that. But the play-by-play was extraordinary because you think this could not happen, but it did. And the only reason why the plot failed is because he told everybody in the world what he was going to do before, during, and after he was arrested. So, like, he's in the cockpit on the radio explaining to the cops what his intentions are with the airplane once he takes off. I mean, obviously, it's not going to happen now, but it was a true assassination attempt. So that was the assassination of Richard Nixon. I was going to bypass the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, which was an amazing movie, an awesome movie, but it's not, to me, it's not an assassination. It is a murder.
Yeah, it's not that. I had the same thing. I thought about that movie. I was like, ultimately, I decided against it because of kind of like the same reason. It's just not planned or in the same vein or in the same kind of genre even. You know, it's a drama. You know what I mean? It's a period piece. And, I mean, I do like that movie. I've only seen it once, I think, but it's not really an assassination.
No, it doesn't really fall in that category.
It's not a political assassination, you know?
Oh, definitely not. And it's a murder of opportunity.
Oh, definitely.
You previously, when you showed up this morning, you said that you hadn't seen Milk.
No, I have not seen Milk.
Another Sean Penn movie.
I do really like Sean Penn, and one of the reasons I do want to see One Battle After Another is because Sean Penn is in it. But yeah, I really like his work, especially in like Mystic River. That's a crazy movie.
I still have not seen that movie.
That's a fucking crazy movie.
I saw a clip from that movie, and it was Sean Penn losing his shit being held down by like 6 cops.
and then crying and screaming. And I just said, I can't. I don't think I can watch this.
That was an insane movie.
Yeah.
And I do want to see Milk, but I haven't. But I know it's very relevant to this conversation.
There is on Criterion a documentary called The Times of Harvey Milk, which came out, I believe, in 1982. And it talked about Milk, his life and his politics, and it talks to people who directly knew him and did business with him. I think that film got an Oscar in 1982 for Best Documentary. It was really the go-to documentary on it was the only thing that you could find with footage about Milk, and because he was gay, he was an outcast even after he was murdered, and so you grew up kind of not knowing anything about him. But every book I read on cinema that had a chapter on documentaries, that was always in the top 5. You know, one of them was Hearts and Minds by Peter Davies. It was about the Vietnam War. That also got an Oscar. And so eventually I just broke down and watched it, and I could not believe it. Like, I had heard the story, but if you watch the documentary, it was crazy. And one of the things that Milk does so well, I think, is that Penn is not doing a caricature of Milk. He's actually really trying as much as he can to get Milk's beats down. And the real scary part is Josh Brolin.
I didn't know Josh Brolin was in it.
He's in it, and he plays his killer. And that is probably the darkest thing I've seen Brolin do.
Yeah.
And that is how Brolin did not get... Like, I believe that Penn was nominated for that.
Oh, probably.
But how Brolin did not get nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Now I really need to see it.
Like, it is disturbing. Really disturbing. Of course, the ending is just heartbreaking as it would be. But if you get a chance, I think I have a copy of it. I might give it to you. Do you have a DVD player at the? No. We got to solve that problem too.
I only got one left, and then plus my favorite one, which we already talked about. Of course, when you talk about this, this topic, this genre of film, this inevitable movie comes up. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one to be the end all.
JFK?
Yes.
How do you get around JFK? How do you get around that cast? You got
Oliver Stone,
Kevin Costner,
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker is in it. Oh, my God. There's Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci, very briefly.
Prime Joe Pesci.
John Candy for a very brief second.
Yes. In a Cajun accent, which is amazing. Walter Matthau. Who plays the senator. Donald Sutherland.
Plays the mysterious man.
Yeah. Contact X.
It's really good.
Sissy Spacek plays Garrison's wife. It's actually, Garrison is in the movie. He plays Earl Warren, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, in that brief scene where they're interviewing Oswald. That's Oswald, played by the great
Gary Oldman. What? Perfect.
Total fire.
You can always rely on Gary Oldman to encapsulate a character, whether it's Lee Harvey Oswald or Churchill, man. He goes for it. So that's one of the reasons to watch the movie is for his performance. But, as much shit as I will give JFK, I mean, it is a well-made movie.
It is. One of my favorite commentaries I think I've ever listened to is the commentary for Alex Cox's movie Sid and Nancy, which is also on Criterion. And he comes on to the commentary, I think it was made in the late 90s, and he said, "My name is Gary Oldman, and I have played Ludwig van Beethoven, Sid Vicious, and Lee Harvey Oswald."
What an insane lineup. Just crazy.
And later on went to play Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
So complete fire. There are a lot of problems in the movie. If you go listen to the Rewatchables episodes, and if you go online, you can find endless Reddit feeds about everything in the movie that is wrong. Particularly with the magic bullet theory, which is not conveyed in total honesty.
No.
But regardless of that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about misinformation and shit that is just not making any sense, particularly in the immediate aftermath of everything that was happening. And there are some things that he leaves out, for instance, which is like the Warren Commission and their report that they created.
that was just a report on the investigation that the FBI had already done. It was like an encapsulation. It wasn't like they were trying to find anything new. It was a summation. It was made specifically to calm the public down and sell them this theory of the lone gunman, which may or may not be correct. But Stone uses the idea of ambiguity to sell you on what can you trust? And we live in a world today of what can we trust?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
What's your favorite scene from that particular film?
Gotta be one of two. The scene where he's meeting Donald Sutherland and he's giving the whole breakdown of everything. It's just like the theory after theory, that scene, or the magic bullet, the back and to the left, back and to the left. That scene in the courtroom when he's putting on trial. Oh, Tommy Lee Jones. Thank you. I'm blanking on so many names today. But putting him on trial and just doing... Kevin Bacon's also in that movie.
That's right.
Yeah, what a stacked cast. You told me that you used to play a 6 Degrees game, and if you just got back to JFK, you'd be fine.
Yes, but so that became a rule, actually.
Yeah, just don't use JFK.
You can't use JFK if you're playing a Kevin Bacon game, because it was just it was cheating. We considered it cheating.
They are fired up. We also have in the show, I don't know if you notice our fine friends here. There's some gentlemen visiting us from Albright College in Pennsylvania. It's Mike Chinelli, Craig Foss, and Brian Turtle. And here's why we have them on the show. Fellas?
Well, we believe that Kevin Bacon is the center of the whole acting universe.
They believe that Kevin Bacon is the center of the entire acting universe. And how did this theory come about?
Basically, we were sitting around drinking some beers, watching Footloose, and one of us said, wow, Kevin Bacon's really worked with a lot of people, and we began to realize that we could link anyone with Kevin Bacon. It was amazing.
So basically, you think you can link anyone in the entertainment world to Kevin Bacon?
Just about, yeah.
Well, we got some examples here. Here's, okay, we're going to try one real quick just to get you guys going. Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo worked with Danny DeVito in Wise Guys.
Right.
Danny DeVito worked with Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson was in A Few Good Men with Kevin Bacon.
There you go, Kevin Bacon. That's excellent. Now, anybody got one from the audience? Any name that we can grab and throw at these guys, see if they can link it to Kevin Bacon? Who's got one? Yeah. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Okay, Michael Jackson's video was shown in the beginning of the movie Free Willy, which the actor Michael Ironsides was in, who was in Top Gun with Tom Cruise, who was in A Few Good Men with Kevin Bacon.
I heard Dennis Leary come on.
How about Howard?
Howard was in Awakenings. He caught the cup, right?
Yeah, he caught the cup.
Now in Awakenings, there was
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro in Awakenings, who worked with Joe Pesci in Raging Bull. Joe Pesci was in JFK with
Kevin Bacon.
But everyone's in that movie, man. People will just pop up and like, holy shit, God. But yeah, and even at the end, it's like
Jack Lemmon is in that movie.
Jack Lemmon, fucking Jack Lemmon. What an actor, man. Wasn't he in 12 Angry Men?
He was, yeah, in the remake.
On the remake?
Yeah, with William Friedkin.
Yeah, George C. Scott was in that one too, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that had a really stacked cast.
Oh, dude, Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini was in that.
McKelty Williamson.
Dude, yeah, that was a stacked cast, and it's like a beat for beat.
JFK, of course, became part of popular culture, and there's that famous episode of Seinfeld where they're trying to figure out where did the spitball come from.
Yeah, and the ending, even the ending about that, it was like that movie just perpetuated so much shit about that movie, like about the assassination, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, I'm all for questioning stuff, but like you're just perpetuating a bunch of shit that just wasn't real. You know what I mean?
I still have somewhere in my possession an issue of the Houston Chronicle, which published a huge section of their paper separately that came out at the 25th anniversary of the Kennedy assassination.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and to think that I was only born, 12 years after his death.
Yeah.
So it was in living memory. We're getting farther and farther away from it. Bernie Sanders was recently really criticized because he went on
TV, and he said, "Yeah, we all remember where we were when Kennedy was shot." I'm like, actually, no. Most of Americans actually were born after that date. But, but maybe your old ass remembers. But
he's 80 and he still remembers that. But I mean, I guess the new version of that is 9/11, and even then, you got like a large segment of the population who weren't even born.
But it was. But to that point, I remember when the movie came out in Time magazine, which has always been sort of a conservative institution in this country, particularly under the editor Henry Luce in the 30s and 40s. It published a hit piece on Jim Garrison, who was also still alive, and in his book On the Trail of the Assassins, which also has, everyone knows, some factual inaccuracies in it. And so it goes back to, well, if you can't trust the prosecutor who is trying to prosecute the murder of President Kennedy, like, who can you trust?
It's just like a whole thing. It is a very well-made movie, though.
Have you seen Shooter?
Shooter?
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg.
No. Isn't that based on the book?
I do not know.
I don't know if it was a book. I mean, there's a Shooter. There's a TV show called Shooter.
I think that's an extension of the film.
Oh, okay. Because it was Mark Wahlberg, but I have seen like little clips from it. But no, I haven't seen Shooter.
We talked briefly about Munich.
Yeah,
we talked about does that fall under political assassination?
Well, it was politically motivated, yes, but the movie almost isn't about that. It isn't about the first, like the Olympic assassination in Munich, but it's more like about like covert ops in the Cold War, kind of. It's in that era, but it's a very well made movie, except for like 15 seconds near the end. But Spielberg did a good job with it. Jeffrey Rush is in that, right? Very briefly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was a pretty good movie. I liked it, but I don't think it would consider as an assassination conspiracy movie. It's not even really a conspiracy movie. It's like it's just these people trying to find people to like assassinate.
It has a historical basis, which is the Palestinian Liberation Organization had a splinter group called Black September.
Yeah,
who peeled off and successfully murdered a dozen or more members of the Israeli athletes in the 1972 Munich Olympics. And this was at a time, 30 years after World War II was over. It landed really hard. Like it made the Germans look bad. And we found out later, of course, that the Israelis had offered some of their best special ops people to come in and take care of the operation for them to save the athletes. And the government of Germany said no. And then we found out after the fall of the wall, during reunification, that the German government actually knew that the PLA was organizing this massacre and did nothing about it and didn't take extra steps or extra security or anything. And that was extremely disheartening. The assassination isn't the murder of the athletes themselves. That's just a massacre of innocent people who had really nothing to do with what the hell was going on. The political assassination was what Israel decides to do after the fact.
Yeah. Which is like a 15-year campaign of going across the world and assassinating a bunch of people.
Yeah. They made a list of everyone who had anything to do with Black September.
Yeah, they went after him. And unfortunately, there was a guy. I watched a documentary on Netflix about 4 or 5 months ago. There was a guy that they had tracked down to Norway, and they killed him. Wound up being the wrong guy. Yeah,
he was completely innocent. Had nothing to do with this shit. He was an immigrant from Lebanon or something, and they confused him with somebody else because, get this, they had the same name. It was very amateurish shit.
Yeah.
And I think that you get that in Spielberg's film.
Yeah.
Which was these guys, they may be pros in the army and they may be intelligence officers, but these guys, they're not really assassins. Like, they can barely carry this shit out.
Yeah.
Bombs going off at the wrong time, or the
too much explosives, too little explosives, ill timing,
or going onto the yacht and shooting that lady with fucking zip guns. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was insane.
That was nuts. While they're standing there and reloading them bullet by bullet, and I think that Spielberg is trying to show you like there's got to be a better way for us to work out our problems than doing bullshit like this. And there's that awesome scene in the hallway between Eric Bana.
Oh, yes.
And that Palestinian, and they're both in the same safe house, and they don't know who each other is. And
it was very poignant. And Spielberg knows how to make movies.
He does.
Eventually, the Arab states will rise against Israel. They don't like Palestinians, but they hate the Jews more. It won't be like 1967. The rest of the world will see by then what the Israelis do to us. They won't help when Egypt and Syria attack. Even Jordan. Israel will cease to exist. What?
This is a dream. You can't take back a country you never had.
You sound like a Jew.
Fuck you. I'm the voice inside your head telling you what you already know. You people have nothing to bargain with. You'll never get the land back. You'll all die old men in refugee camps waiting for Palestine.
We have a lot of children. They'll have children, so we can wait forever. And if we need to, we can make the whole planet unsafe for Jews.
You kill Jews, and the world feels bad for them and thinks you are animals.
Yes. But then the world will see how they've made us into animals. They'll start to ask questions about the conditions in our cages.
You are Arabs. There are lots of places for Arabs.
You're a Jew sympathizer. All you Germans, you're too soft on Israel. Well, you give us money, but you feel guilty about Hitler. And the Jews exploit that guilt. My father didn't gas any Jews.
Tell me something, Ali.
What?
Do you really miss your father's olive trees? Do you honestly think you have to get back all that nothing? That chalky soil and stone huts? Is that what you really want for your children?
It absolutely is. It will take 100 years, but we'll win. How long did it take the Jews to get their own country? How long did it take the Germans to make Germany?
And look how well that worked out.
You don't know what it is not to have a home. That's why you European Reds don't get it. You say it's nothing, but you have a home to come back to. ETA, ANC, IRA, we all pretend we care about your international revolution, but we don't care. We want to be nations. Home is everything.
He's like he's probably like the best director who ever lived, man.
I am of that opinion. And you know what a huge fan I am of Orson Welles.
Yeah.
But Spielberg, for me, since I was a child,
he's the guy.
He's been running the board. And
I mean, you can bring up other names like Fincher or Scorsese, but in my opinion, like Spielberg can do anything. Yeah. Like he can make any type of movie. That's just point. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Munich, Ready Player One. Like he can make anything.
He can take any genre, and he can make an A-plus picture out of it. And, Fincher is, I don't want to call Fincher a one-trick pony because he's not.
He's not at all, but
he's interested in the subversive.
Yes.
And if it's not subversive, then he's not interested.
And, you have the same thing with Nolan. It's he can't do, like, everything. Mm-hmm. There's specific things that he's really good at, but, like, Spielberg, he can do anything.
He can do anything. All right, so I've got my top one, which we kind of actually already talked about. All right, and what was yours?
Mine was Parallax View.
That was mine too.
Oh yeah,
so,
no shit.
It's Parallax View.
No, Parallax View is just like that is.
We have Senator Carroll with us today to celebrate Independence Day.
Sometimes I've been called too independent for my own good.
Since the assassination, 6 of these people have died in some kind of an accident. These people were killed, and whoever killed them is going to try to kill me. Austin thinks that maybe we all saw something up there.
You've been asking questions about me and things you know nothing about. All I want is to stay out of it.
Sorry, Mr. Tucker, you got information I need. This story's gonna mean more to me than $10,000.
Fella, you don't know what this story means.
First, I thought these killings were related only to the Carroll assassination. It's much bigger than that. Whoever's behind this is in the business of recruiting assassins. I think I got some of their entrance exams.
We're in the business of reporting the news, not creating it. You're telling me that you alone can uncover what all these agencies couldn't?
Maybe.
Congratulations, Richard. You had some very interesting scores on the first series of tests for parallax. We're prepared to offer you the most lucrative and rewarding work of your life.
That's just a movie to, like, behold, man. Like, that's like when you got to peep game and lock in and, like, witness the man just trying to figure out what's going on. And ultimately, just, like, still nothing is revealed to the viewer. Like, it's just, like, how the conspiracy can warp the mind. You know, not just, like, not figuring it out and trying to, like, this is like conspiracy. I keep bringing this up with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts. It's kind of like, you know, eventually everything's kind of figured out. You know, in Parallax View, you still don't know what the fuck's happening.
That's right.
And, like, even though, like, there's every scene is just, like, there's a point to it. And, like, every scene is, like, revealing something new. You still don't know what anything is going on. And that's, like, the scary part of it. Like, the concept of these conspiracy films, you know? Or you have, like, you know, more mainstream ones, like, you know, The Net with
Sandra Bullock.
With Sandra Bullock. I mean, I like that movie, but it's not nearly the same. I mean, it is a conspiracy movie, for sure. Parallax View is unlike any other of those types of movies I've ever seen. Like, that opening is just something else. I don't know how they shot that.
Oh, the one on top of the Space Needle
I don't
in
know
Seattle.
how they shot that.
First of all, they got Seattle on a clear day.
Oh, yeah. First of all, step one, the hardest part, see Seattle on a clear day. Yeah, you got like one day out of the year.
I don't know if you've seen Clute, but
no.
Clute made a hit in '71, and that was with Donald Sutherland and Jane Fonda.
Yeah, isn't this part of his conspiracy trilogy with All the President's Men?
That's right.
Yeah, okay, because
right.
that was the other one that I did want to see. All the President's Men is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a great one.
And that is a conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy
theory.
movie,
Yeah,
not an
absolutely.
assassination one, though.
Right. And then he had a couple of bumps in the road, but he famously made Sophie's Choice in 1982,
yes.
which anyone who has seen that film more than once, I think there's something wrong with you. Like, I don't even have a copy. Like, I'd rather watch Schindler's List 1,000 times than watch Sophie's Choice again. And it's not that it's a bad movie. It's not. It's just not something I ever care to relive, particularly if you've got kids. The one that gets me in his later career is he did two films. Well, first of all, he did Presumed Innocent with Harrison Ford, which you haven't seen yet.
Presumed. I thought
that's also a conspiracy film.
Yeah,
a little bit. It's an investigation. You know, it's like a cop drama. Amazing film. But he did one called The Pelican Brief, another conspiracy movie with some political assassinations in it. Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, Stanley Tucci.
Oh shit!
Yeah, just stacked cast. But this was based on a book by John Grisham. And John Grisham, you know, they were doing all of his shit in the 90s, you know, The Client. And the last film he did before he died was The Devil's Own.
Oh, I love that one.
Right. And that one was problematic as hell. Like, they had problems during production. They had problems in the cutting room. And
problems after in the press junket.
Right.
I've heard a lot of the things, but I still really like that movie. I think Devil's Own is great and is very underrated and overhated. Like, I think Harrison Ford gives a great performance, along with Brad Pitt, disregarding the accent. You know what I mean?
So you're a judge, are you?
State court.
Don't know too many judges. Socially speaking. Well, I was saying, Mr. Fitzsimmons, if you're not confused, you don't know what's going on. That's it, isn't it? When we need the money, we'll need it quickly. Land of the opportunist, if you ask me. Done well for yourself. When can we take possession?
Because I remember, like, a big thing was like, oh, it's his Irish accent or whatever. But,
got to get my money, Tom.
Yeah, but I still really like that movie. And it's about, like, kind of a thing you don't really see that often in movies. You know, like, when's the last time you've seen a movie about, like, the IRA?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like The Foreigner.
Yeah, you know, and that was really profound because Pierce Brosnan, a famous
Irishman,
famous Irishman, was in it and played this guy after the Good Friday Agreement, which was like, how dare you? How dare you endanger this peace? How dare you? You know, it was an Irish patriot arguing for peace, which is not typically what you see in films before. You know, the Boxer with Daniel Day-Lewis, or The Crying Game with Stephen Ray, famous IRA movie
Forrest Whitaker. But yeah, they're all about the duality of man, that whole theme. But going back to the parallax view, Pakula just really put lightning in a bottle for that.
I have yet to see anything else like that movie.
I remember the first time that I watched it just thinking that the ending was entirely unhinged and boring to me. Like I felt like they really fumbled the ball in the third act and accepting for the last, 3-4 minutes of the film, I really did not like the entire convention setting, and it really was off-putting. When I watched it again, less so, and I think the third time I watched it was with you on Criterion DVD, and that seemed to be a whole lot better just because Criterion is formatted
correctly
differently, and they've done some cleaning up on it, and it looks better. But I asked you after we watched it, and you didn't think that at all about the convention scene.
No, I thought it was eerie and unsettling, and because it's like the convention scene is like a very big space that's empty. You know what I mean? And like there's got to be something that he's thinking about when putting together these scenes. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you make it the most unsettling? A big wide open space, no one in it. It's a convention center which is far away. You know what I mean? It's like people running around a big area. You can't hide anywhere except for a few places. Like there's got to be something that he actively thought about, just like to put it in a convention center. You know what I mean? But that ending was just like, I thought the ending was fantastic. It was just like eerie, unsettling, and nothing is resolved.
There were the ambiguity in the things that are never resolved. Like you don't know, for instance, if that cop who tried to kill him, if he was in on it or not.
Yes.
Like his newspaper editor was like, look, they thought that you were around trying to poke your head into some corruption thing that they were into. They didn't know why you were down there. But was that really the reason?
No. Ambiguity is a great tool. Like if you don't do it right, it can be very anticlimactic. You know what I mean? But if you do it correctly, it just elevates the film, depending on what you're trying to go for, of course.
I remember in the 90s watching one of the first documentaries I'd seen about Fred
Hampton.
Yeah. And that is a political assassination. And you could say the Judas and the Black
Messiah. That's a good movie.
And is that a movie about a political assassination? I think that's more about his life and what he was trying to do the last year of his life.
Yeah.
As opposed to specifically his death, because nothing happens really after his death.
So how would you compare that with with not JFK, Malcolm X though? Because it's kind of like almost a little similar, but I think there's more emphasis put on his assassination.
Well, I think that there's not a whole lot of ambiguity in Judas and the Black Messiah. The documentaries that I had seen, they were claiming that there was a direct link between the municipal police of Chicago, like the Chicago PD and the FBI, and they were specifically after Hartman. And I don't know, I guess it was like 20, 25 years where I was just, I don't believe that. Like I don't really buy that theory. Like you're going to have to prove that to me. And then of course I found out that one of the guys in Malcolm X's outfit on his security detail was working for the NYPD.
Yeah.
And he was in a task force that was mixed with feds from Washington.
Yes.
Who were surveilling Malcolm X.
The feds were surveilling everyone.
They were everywhere.
MLK, Malcolm X, they surveilled like Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
They were going after everyone.
They had a guy in Fred Hampton's apartment who is accused to this day of slipping a roofie in his drink. And that guy was interviewed for the famous documentary about the civil rights movement, The Eyes on the Prize. This came out in 1984. And he told the truth, and they edited that, and they didn't say anything, and then they aired it. And he knew what he was saying was inflammatory when he admitted to working with the cops against Fred Hampton's group. And when that documentary aired, he shot himself the next day because he couldn't conceive of living a day with people knowing what he had done. And that was all of his stuff that he did without even admitting to the roofie. So great, man. I remember they came out during the pandemic. You and I went to go see it. There were the 4 people in the theater at Star Cinema Grill, and both of us just being completely blown away. Just what an amazing movie that was. where that ranks with the parallax view, just because the parallax view, you really don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you prefer. It's almost like a taste thing. It's like, this is eerie, unsettling, and very ambiguous. And then the other one is very, like, you kind of, even though it is a conspiracy, like, you kind of know what's happening. Like, you kind of know vaguely who's doing this. Parallax view, you have the broadest thing ever. You know, it's just like, it could be everyone or it could be no one. But in Judas and the Black Messiah, it's like, yeah, it's like the authority. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter who it is, it's just that you got to assume they're in on it, you know? So
the cops are in on it.
Yeah. And it's just insane what happened in that time.
In JFK, I think the entire third act, which is the courtroom scene,
mm-hmm.
is them trying to establish motive. Of Kevin Costner just trying to establish motive. Like, this is why they were trying to do this. Businessmen were trying to remove Kennedy because he was going to put a stop to the Vietnam War, and there was a vested interest in the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, and there's like another one that's been gaining more traction. I wouldn't call it new, but like there's a new theory, like new in terms of like getting more recognition about that, which is insane.
About the Kennedy assassination?
Yeah. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I can cut it out if it doesn't.
I'll keep it very brief. It's like when JFK wanted to have Israel's nuclear arms like inspected, like their power plants, to figure out if they're making a nuclear device. And then once he was killed, a few months after, it's just...
That's a pretty weird theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange.
The Mossad got him. It's getting more traction now. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I buy that one. It's hard for me to pick out what is my favorite moment from the parallax view. It's one of those things where on the rewatchables where they go through what are the most rewatchable scenes. It's almost even there is a static scene of his boss dead in his office.
And that's still a fantastic scene.
It looks like a Caravaggio painting. And it's got that eerie music, the piano music over it. The dam coming open and the water flooding.
Yeah, that was insane. That like far away shot of the dam, and like he's getting in the car and going. Like there's just so many scenes of the parallax view just make it just so memorable.
The boat blowing up.
Oh God, man! Like it just Warren Beatty. Just talk about like an actor, man. Like he delivered. You know, if you give it to like, you know, there's a lot of other people that could have done it. You know what I mean? But, like, I think Warren Beatty just absolutely sells the uneasiness of everything.
And there's one of the most unsettling scenes is when Beatty is going through the pages of the questions. And the camera is cutting back and forth between the room, not Beatty so much, but it's showing you the questions. And you're reading the questions on the screen. And that was nuts. What are they looking for, the people who are asking these questions? The psychological profile that they're trying to put together. That was really disturbing.
There's like a lot of other movies that almost kind of give off like a kind of similar vibe. Like The Conversation. That's kind of a similar one, but it's not like a political assassination movie. There's just so many movies that are about conspiracies that I love. I don't think any director can just do a conspiracy movie. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to, like, use the tools of the language to, like, give you a certain feeling. You know what I mean? So, that's why I think they're kind of rare now.
Well, I think that a lot of people, they don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I can't really remember the last movie about like a political assassination or a conspiracy movie came out. I mean, the fucking Highwaymen but that's not like that. They're just hunting Bonnie and Clyde.
Right, with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, and Woody Harrelson.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not really it's not nearly the same.
No, and I think there's a reluctance. First of all, Hollywood since 2010 has just been geared a certain way.
It's very different. It's incredibly different of how they make movies now. They only make sequels, and like as much as everyone says, oh, we want more original movies, when an original movie comes out, like, no one's in the fucking theater. You know what I mean? And so, like, this is y'all's fault. Like, you're perpetuating this. This is why we're getting Frozen 3.
Yeah, if you went to more movies.
If you went to more movies, and, like, we went to, it doesn't matter. Like, we went to go see Love Hurts. That's an original movie.
Yeah.
And even though it was, like, wasn't the greatest, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still an original movie.
There was a horror movie that came out about a month ago that I really wanted to see called Heart Eyes. And I think it's on Shudder. And I almost want to get a Shudder subscription just so I can see that one film.
Yeah. I want to see Weapons.
I want to see that
with
bad.
Josh. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that subversive style, Denis Villeneuve, his first film, Polytechnique, was about the shooting in the Quebec Polytechnique University in the 1990s. That's a really subversive film that I don't think that she could get made today.
You can't really make those types of movies anymore. Like, unless it's based on something that actually happens, and about a very specific figure. You know what I mean? Like Milk.
Right.
So you can't really make it about much else. You can't make another Parallax View. No one will go see it.
And
you can't make President's Men.
Now is the time for someone in Britain to make like a biopic of, Oswald Mosby.
Oh my fucking God.
The leader of the British Union, the fascists.
What do you mean by, like, you want to like a movie documentary about him?
Not a movie, not a documentary, but like a
movie
about his life. This is the guy, and this is what he believed in.
Yeah, like an American History
X
type thing.
We got plenty of documentaries about Hitler. And
we got plenty of shit about him.
Plenty of movies.
No one knows who Mosley is.
Right. But that could put in perspective the fight that is happening in Britain right now with the Reform Party, with Nigel Farage, with the whole right wing.
Oh yeah, you can even that goes across all of Europe. I mean, the AfD or like the parties in France and Spain, and especially Italy. It's all over the place, and a lot of people just don't realize it. The AfD is getting all the coverage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
What little news you see about Europe from here is just it's all about the AfD and about their members being assassinated. Fuck.
Yeah, it's the rise of the right. It's not something that's been happening in the past year. It's been happening for decades now.
A lot of people in power love the before times so much we decided to do the 30s again.
Oh man, let's hold on to our savings. Okay, any final thoughts about the Parallax View?
Out of all these movies to watch, what are your top three? Top three that you gotta see. You know what I mean? Out of your list.
If I were to recommend 3 out of this list that everyone listening must see, I would say Z.
Yeah,
for sure.
Me too.
Parallax View.
Me too.
And I would say the last one is Malcolm X.
That's what I have. That's exactly what I have.
Exactly what you have.
Yeah.
Wow. Excellent. Well, thanks very much for coming on in these dangerous times that we live in. And let's just hope that this never happens again, what happened last week. But I just don't think we're going to get off that easy.
No, it's going to keep happening. It's like the 60s and early 70s again.
Yeah, and hopefully cinema can help us understand our past and help us understand how to get through it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for hanging out with Luke and I while we calmly discussed films about political assassination. You can find the Super 70 podcast wherever you find podcasts. You can find me, my book, and my blog at www.thatdylandavis.com and at @ThatDylanDavis on Threads, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky. You can find Rosalind McPhail on SoundCloud and Facebook.
despise him. Why? I'll tell you why.
Well, let me tell it.
No, you can't tell it.
You always tell it.
All right, tell it.
Just tell it.
June 14th, 1987. Mets, Phillies were enjoying a beautiful afternoon in the right field stands when a crucial Hernandez error opens the door to a 5-run Phillies ninth, cost the Mets the game.
Our day was ruined. There was a lot of people, they're waiting by the players' parking lot. Now, we're coming down the ramp. Newman was in front of me. Hernandez was coming toward us. As he passes us, Newman turns and says, "Nice game, pretty boy." Hernandez continued past us up the ramp.
Then, a second later, something happened that changed us in a very deep and profound way from that day forward.
What was it?
He spit on us. And I screamed out, "I'm hit!"
Then I turned and the spit ricocheted off him and it hit me.
Wow. What a story.
Unfortunately, the immutable laws of physics contradict the whole premise of your account. Allow me to reconstruct this, if I may, for Miss Bennis, as I've heard this story a number of times. Newman, Kramer, if you'll indulge me. According to your story, Hernandez passes you and starts walking up the ramp. Mm-hmm. Then you say you were struck on the right temple. The spit then proceeds to ricochet off the temple, striking Newman between the third and the fourth rib. The spit then came off the rib, made a right turn, hitting Newman in the right wrist, causing him to drop his baseball cap. The spit then splashed off the wrist, pauses in midair, mind you, makes a left turn, and lands on Newman's left thigh. That is one magic loogie.
Well, that's the way it happened.
What happened to your head when you got hit?
Well, my head went back to the left.
Say that again.
Back and to the left.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
So, what are you saying?
I'm saying that the spit could not have come from behind. That there had to have been a second spitter. Behind the bushes on the gravelly road. If the spitter was behind you as you claim, that would have caused your head to pitch forward.
So the spit could have only come from the front and to the right.
But that's not what they would have you believe.
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, you don't remember me?
No, should I?
Yeah, you should. Because I certainly remember you. Let me refresh your memory.
June 14th, 1987. Mets, Phillies. You made a big error, cost the Mets the game. Then you're coming up the parking lot ramp.
You said, "Nice game, pretty boy."
Ah, you remember.
And then you spit on us.
Hey, I didn't spit at you.
Oh, yeah, right.
No. Well, then who was it?
Well, look, the way I remember it, I was walking up the ramp. I was upset about the game. That's when you called me pretty boy. Okay, that ticked me off. I was starting to turn around to say something. And as I turned around, I saw Roger McDowell behind the bushes over by that gravelly road. Anyway, he was talking to someone and they were pointing at you. I tried to scream out. It was too late. It was already on its way.